Alright, so we've got this divided surface, and now we want to repeat that component that we have on it. So if I go to the component, right, the aperture square aperture surface, and I load that into the project. Oh, I still have it named family 2. We'll also save it. Load that into family 2, right, and then I can come in and place it. So I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and then I'll repeat that. And then I'll go to File and Save, and I'll save this. I already have one wall family, wall component. We'll call this wall component family, so we know the difference. So now we've got all that done. Now we're ready to start Dynamo and start to make this definition. I'm not gonna, I guess I could make the whole definition, but basically I'm just going to go through the definition with you, and you can make it in Dynamo if you want to. So let's go ahead and pull that down. Let's squish down our little real estate so we can't see anything, right? I'll pull Dynamo out here, and right now Dynamo's not pointing at this current document because it was actually pointing at another one. So I'm going to close down some of these files that we're not using. So let's go to this one, close that one, right? And so now it's looking at this document. So you have to be, you either have to open it or close it and open it with the document open, because it will lose its contact with the document. But you want to make sure that Dynamo is now available, is working. And so now one of the last things I need to do in here before we start doing Dynamo is I need to put a point in here that's going to act like an attractor. So I'm just going to come up here and go to the point, and I'm going to make sure that this is set on level 1, and I'm just going to pick a point out here right in front, and then I'm going to create a circle on here just for the reason that Dynamo needs a geometry object to pick. So I'm just going to go up here to, and I like reference lines, but I'm just going to go to reference and circle, and I'm going to set my work plane to this guy. I'm also going to make sure that it's set to draw on work plane, so it hosts to that point. And I'm just going to draw a little circle on there. It doesn't matter how big. Okay, so now we're ready to sort of generate an attractor point. And the way that you do that is, first you have to pick the family type, right? So if you right click in Dynamo, you can type in family types, and it'll bring out your family types, and you can go to the pull down and pick the family that you want to use, right? Okay, and so if I come in to here, right, I've got that 4-point aperture square, right? So I'm just going to pick that guy, right? Because that should be this one if I come in here and tab select it, right? Okay, and so if we come out a little further, what happens, and we'll follow this top one here, it gets all the elements of that family type. So that would be 4 times 6. So if I run it, right, it's going to run it, and you'll see it got all 24 of those. So it's looking, it's getting all 24 of them. And I'm going to go ahead and then it gets the location of those. So it goes in, and this is all the points of the center of those. You can see the points being generated to find the center of those. And then if we back up a little bit, this is the object that we want to select this curve that we just made. So I'm just going to go to select, and I'm going to pick that guy, right? And then I'm going to run it, right? And it should, see how it recalculates and changes all the apertures. So basically it selects that model curve, it comes in and gets the location of that, the circle, and this one compares the location of the adaptive components to the location of the circle and gives a distance. So if I come out and give this, it's just giving me the distances. And if you want to see it, you can actually draw the circles so you can kind of visualize what's going on, right? So if I take this circle element, right, and plug it into there and make that the start point, and then I get the geometry location for all those other elements and I run that, you're going to see it's going to draw a line from that to there, and that's where it's getting all those distances, right? So let's just get rid of that and all those blue lines. We'll rerun it. And then basically what happens is you get all those distances, which if we pump those distances into the aperture, that would be huge, right? Because this is in feet. So that would be like 5 feet. So right now I've got a code block in here, and you could use multiplication, multiply. So you could do, whoops, not color multiply. This one. Right, you could do x times y and it would be the same thing, and use a number slider. But this little code block, all you do is double left click and you can type in x times 0.1 and semicolon. It's like a little script, and then it gives you the x to put in, and then it multiplies that. It's just a little quicker than that one, so it just, however you want to do it. And so then that obviously takes all those down lower and puts that in the value and gets the square size. So if I come in here and tab select, there's a square size, right, that we changed to the instance parameter, and it just takes all those numbers and pushes them in. So now whenever I come in here and move this guy, right, and run it, right, it adjusts for that. All right, so when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about some other options that you have for controlling the size of the aperture.